In this video, we are going to focus on graphs of reciprocal functions. You will find this on page 251 in the Namibian Ordinary Level Mathematics textbook, y equals mx plus c to success. Graphs of reciprocal functions, it will always be like a hyperbole. So y, like indirect proportion, y equals the constant on top over x. In this section, we shall take a look at the graphs of reciprocal functions. Reciprocal graphs are a family of curves called hyperbolas, hyperbole. The general form of the equation of a reciprocal function is given by y equals a, where a is just a constant, just a number, over x, where a is a real number and x cannot be 0 because it's invalid to divide by 0. Okay, so here is your table. So again, you're just going to complete your table. Just substitute -5, -4, -3, -2, 1, this. And then you just going to plot your points in what is it cannot be 0. And that's why you cannot connect that graphs. So the graph just go up to there, stop. Go up to there, stop. You cannot go over the y-axis. And if it's negative, how does it look? Then instead, say for example, the value in front is negative. Instead of in the first and in the third quadrant, it will be in the second and the third. And again, you cannot go over the y-axis. Okay, drawing the graph of y equals a over x. Now complete the table of values for the function this. Given all answers correct to one decimal place. Okay, that's what I did. How do I find p? How do I find q? I substitute 5 and then I will get 10. And I substitute 45 and then I will get 1.1. And then I just go, move it up a little bit. Okay, so then I just go and plot just your scale. It's every centimeter. So on a sheet of graph, using a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 5 units on the x. So every centimeter is 5, 10, 15. And draw the graph. And 1 cent represent 1. Okay, so draw the graph of this. Use your graph in this to find the value of x when y, so go to y, 4, where it cuts, down, really down, 13. Solve the equation. Now, they are telling you that the value of y, let me just show you there. The value of y is 3. So go to the y at 3, where it cuts, just really down, and what will that value be? That value will be 18. Okay, and then on the same grid, draw the graph. Now in this case, and it must be from 0 to 50, you must create your own table. So if they don't give you a table, just create your own. Start with the first, take a middle, do the last. Try to avoid fractions. So in this case, this will avoid fractions. Do substitution, complete the graph of the table, and then just go and plot your points. 3 is enough for accuracy. And then draw your line. And then write down the x. Now this is very important. The x coordinates of the point of intersection of the two. So where it cuts, draw it down. Where it cuts, draw it down. Re-down, re-down. And that was 7, and that will be 33. So write an algebraic equation which will have your answer as the solution. It's just where the two equations will be equal. So it's where this will be equal to this. Because it's almost like you take this and you substitute it in the place of y. Or take this and substitute it in the place of y. And that. You don't have to simplify it. Okay. Find the gradient. So if you simplify it, you will get this values if you simplify it with algebra. And then find the gradient of the graph. Now remember, the gradient is the coefficient in front of x. Now be careful. There x down at the back, and the coefficient will be this. Okay. So in this case, it will be negative 1 over 5, or just a fifth, negative a fifth. And don't forget your negative sign. Grab the sign. Okay, and that's how you do it. Okay, I want you to stop the video and I want you to do number 1. Use graph paper. As soon as you are finished, you can continue the video. Okay, we're going to see what we can finish on this page, and then we will start with our graph paper. So number 1, and this will be A, complete the table. So the function is y equals 120 over x. So how do I find the value of A? So y equals 120 over 1, and that is just 120. So don't forget, therefore, A is equal to 120. Then the next one, do again, just substitution. And then it's 120, and what's the value of x? In this case, it's going to be 5. And then the answer is going to be 24. So again, therefore, the value of B will be 24. Okay. Then I'm just going to see if I can do this final thing. So use your graph. Okay, now, on a sheet of graph paper using 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the x and 1 centimeter to represent 10 units on the y, draw the graph. Okay, again, I'm first going to go to my graph paper. And then again, I'm going to do my planning. First, copy the table. Step 1, copy the table. So if I copy the table, so in the place of x, okay, so let's start. So it was, let's just make a better color. So it's 1 and 120. And then it was 1.5 and it was 80. And it was 2 and it was 60. And it was 3 and it was 40. And it was 4 and it was 30. And it was 5 and it was 24. And it was 6 and it was 20. And then if I complete, oh sorry, I just want to take a ruler. Just going to make it a bit nicer. Okay, so now it's from 1 to 6, okay, and they said, if I was reading the question, let's just read the correct question. They said 1 unit, okay, 2 centimeters to represent 1 unit on the y-axis. Okay, so 2 centimeters, no, there's no negative numbers. So 2 centimeters, so let's just see. Okay, I just want to see how much down. So it will be here, can you see? Because only positive values. And then they said, let's just repeat it. 1 centimeter to represent 10 on the y. And again, it's just positive. So it's actually very nice. So let's just see if I'm going to fit 120. So it's going to be 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I think it will work if we do it like this. I just think I'm going to take this color because it's really just positive, so I can just do it here. I think it's enough to there. Let's just go. Okay, and then this is 0. And then this every 2 centimeter is 1, so it's 1. This is 2, 3, want to move this now. Four, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then this one, okay, so this is my x-axis. And then this one, every is 10, so it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, I hope it's going to fit now. I think it's just going to fit. 90, 100, 110. It's actually better to move it a little bit down, but it's going to work. Okay. Okay, so this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. Okay, now I'm just going to make it a bit smaller. Okay, there it is. And now they say plot the points. So if I go and I plot the points, take red, it's 1, there is 1 and 120. I'm going to need to make it bigger for the plotting. So 1 and 120. Okay. And then it's 1.5 and 80. 1.5 and 80. And it's 2 and 60. 2 and 60. And then it's 3 and 40. 3 and 40. And then it is 4 and 30. And then it's 5 and 24. Remember just 10 divided by 5, it's 2. So every small is it's counting 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it's going to be 5 and 24. So 2, 4. There. Oh, it's a bit higher. Okay, so 5 and 24 and 6 and 20. And then I'm just going to take my freehand. It's a curve, so I must do it freehand. I prefer if I stop, then I stop at a point. For you, turn the paper, it usually helps you. And what I usually do is, it's almost like I visualize the next one. So in this case, and I just have to make it very small. Okay, so it's almost like I go up to that point. So rather if you stop, it's at a point it's not so noticeable. Okay, I'm going to try again. Okay. Okay. And what is this graph? I'm going to write down the name, and what will be the name? Y equals 120 over x. And now we can go on. Now I'm saying Use your graph in B to find the value of x when y is 70. So go where y is 70. So in this case, okay, now I'm just going to write it down here. So it's going to be C. I prefer to first write everything down. So this is CI and an II. So when y, whereas y is 70, then the value of x will be, remember this is going to be 1 divided by 10, so it's 0.1. So it's 1.567. So this will be 1.7. So x, because I'm reading on the x-axis, is 1.7. And then the next one, I read to you the question. They say, solve the equation 120, and I first want to write it. They say 120 over x, this is just the equation, and it's equal to 40. Now remember, this 40 is standing in the place of y. So it's actually saying y is equal to 40, find the value of x. So you go to the y-axis, and you go to 40, okay, and this is now this point, and it's 3. So what will I say? I will say the value of x is 3. Okay, and then the next one, if I look at this, then they say number D, on the same grid, draw the graph. So I'm just going to show you now. Number D, on the same grid, draw the graph y equals 120 minus 20x. So in this case, if I'm going to write this down, I must create my own table. I'm going to move it just a little bit. Maybe we can do it here on the side. So if I create my own table, three values is enough. So it's going to be x, y. Now use the start one because they say from 0 to 6. So use 0 and use 6. And then you use the middle one. 3 will be nice. Okay. And then don't forget, you just do substitution. So it's actually y equals 120 minus 20, and now it's 0. So this is just going to be 120. Okay. And then I'm using 3. I'm just going to clean here. Keep this space. So if I'm using 3, then it's going to be y equals 120 minus 20, 3. And that's 120 minus 60. And then that is just going to be 60. And then if I use 6, then it's going to be 120 minus 120, and that's 0. And then I'm first going to plot that points. What color will I use? Green. So it's 0 and 120. Just move a little bit that you can see. So it's 0 and 120. 3 and 60, 3 and 60, and 6 and 0. And then I take a ruler and I just draw the line. Okay, and then what is that line? The name of that line, and I'm just going to write it here. Y equals 120 minus 20x. Okay. And then I can move on, and they are saying, so after I do on the same grid, draw the graph write down the x coordinates of the points of intersection of the two graphs, just the x coordinates. So if I'm just going to move it a little bit up. So the x coordinates, so where it intersects there, so it's 1.2, so let's just give that number, this number E. So make it red. X is going to be 1.2, and let's just find the other one. It's there. Can be a bit closer. And this will be 4 point. This is 1, 2, 3, that's 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 4.8. If you have 4.7 or maybe even 4.9, let me see, I think it will also be correct depending on how your graph looks, but they have a range in which they mark it. And then the next one, the number F, write down the algebraic equation which will have your answer in E as the solution. And now in this case, this is now number F. And it's just going to be just the two equations. Now what is this is the one equation. So you just take the hyperbole and you put it equal to the straight line. And that's all. You don't have to simplify it. It's just like you are substituting this value in that place of y. Okay, and there is your algebraic equation. And then find the gradient of the graph. Now I just want to show you the gradient. Okay, so it's y equals 120 minus 20x. And again, I'm going to move it up a little bit. Now, I just want to show you, we're just going to read it down. It's the constant in front of x, that's the gradient, but remember to grab the sign. So, therefore, the gradient equals negative 20. Okay, and that's how you do it.